Squid Game Season 2 and the reality show? Let's talk about that. Hello everyone and welcome back. I know you are used to Attack on Titan content on my channel, but I really enjoyed Squid Game when it just dropped, and I had a lot of thoughts about it that I never shared to a video. So in today's video we're going to talk about all the new information we have about the second season and the upcoming reality show based on the series. After that, I will talk about the biggest problem I had with the first season of the show, something that always annoyed me and it must be addressed in the upcoming season. All of this is coming right up, so if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and if you want me to make more videos about other shows, give this video a little like. Now, for the 10 people worldwide who haven't got to watch the first season of the show, spoilers are coming. Squid Game is a death game resembling stories like Gantz and Alice in Borderlands. In the show, 456 players face deadly missions designed after loved childhood games, only with a much more deadly twist. You lose, you die. The players must play to survive and to claim a prize money equivalent to around $4.5 million, with the final game based on a traditional Korean children's game called the Squid Game. The Korean show was produced by Netflix and became the biggest hit on Netflix in a very short period of time. The creator of the show even said it took 12 years to bring the first season of Squid Game to life last year, but it took 12 days for Squid Game to become the most popular Netflix series ever. While the news of Season 2 was already out there, last week it was officially confirmed. And with that, on June 12, which was my birthday by the way, we got this from the official Squid Game Twitter account. On your marks, get set, green light. Squid Game continues, only on Netflix. So can we expect it soon? Not really. There wasn't a confirmed release date yet, but the common conception is around the end of 2023 or even by the end of 2024. In an interview with the director Dong-hyuk, which I just probably butchered his name, he mentioned he has around 3 pages worth of new ideas to turn into a script. That makes us understand everything is still in the very first stages. It is also important to point out that the show was originally designed as a single season, so everything beyond the events happening in the first season wasn't supposed to be answered. Luckily for us, the huge hype of the show made it impossible for Netflix to not push for a second season. So now the creator is facing a tremendous challenge of delivering a fresh season, one which can stand side by side with the first one. And in addition, he also needs to provide a good enough reasoning and story behind a few loopholes he left behind. So what is the plot of Season 2? While reading the interviews, I realized even the director himself doesn't know yet in which direction he wants to take the story. When asked about the second season, he replied, "Humanity is going to be put to a test through those games once again." He also added, "Is true solidarity between humans possible?" In another interview, he said that the second season might go into the previous life of the Frontman, exploring his life as a police officer. Speaking to the Sunday Times, he claimed that he sees a global problem with the police. He referred to the fact that the police can be often late to respond, which makes the casualties count much higher. That issue might be raised in Season 2. To The Hollywood Reporter, he explained he would like to explore the relationship between the frontman and his brother, and what went down between them to lead them to that point on that cliff. He also talked about the story behind the recruiter in the train station, and of course, the main story of our main character, to see what he will do next to bring down the people behind the deadly game. So as you can see, there isn't one specific idea, but there are plenty of questions to be answered. It all depends on the structure of the next season. Will it follow the timeline? Will it go into past events? Or maybe both? I guess we will get more information along the way, and I will talk about it in my blog. Yes, I have a blog and it is stupid, so come check it out. A little after the announcement about Season 2, Netflix announced another future project. The Squid Game Real Life Reality Show, bringing to life a real version of the show, including all the games and mayhem, but without the killing and violence. That might be one of the best moves Netflix has ever had. Let's face it, the majority of reality shows we have today are not so good, to say the least. You can clearly see it in the reviews and scores of rating sites. Years ago, shows like Big Brother were considered groundbreaking, because they were actually groundbreaking. But since then, most reality shows failed to show something really innovative. And that is exactly where I think a Squid Game reality show can be a game changer. A social game and a physical game like Survivor, but with different rules entirely. First, you are not bound to the mercy of a jury, so you can lie and cheat as much as you like, and the people you disqualified will not come to hunt you. You are also not bound by the love of the audience like in Big Brother, so you can do pretty much whatever you want to advance yourself in the game. Of course, you still need to maintain some social aspect. Without that, it will be extremely hard to get to the later stages, as we can see from the actual show. But with the number of competitors being 456, it will make it super easy to blend into the crowd. A smart player will watch, explore, and study their opponents. Well, that is at least what I'm planning on doing. Because yes, I did sign up into the Squid Game reality show because the aspect of deploying mind games in that scenario seems like a true adventure to me. So even though I am extremely camera shy, I promise I can raise some serious hell if by any chance I'll find myself there. But of course, I'm not expecting to actually get in. With this show's incredible hype, I don't envy the person in charge of screening all those people who are about to sign up. By the way, did I mention the actual cash prize being $4.5 million? If I'm not wrong, this will be the largest cash prize given on a TV show. There is not so much more known about this besides the site where you can register too. I will link it in the description if you want to sign in, join forces and help me win the help us win the Squid Game. And now, as I promised, let's talk about the plot hole I mentioned earlier and how it can be solved. As I mentioned, Squid Game was designed to be a single season. Therefore, the creator designed the story with no intention to deliver future information. That means that the questions that weren't supposed to be answered simply weren't answered. But some of those questions were tied to the core of the show, and because they were left unanswered in a story that had originally only one season, they are considered loopholes. And no, I'm not talking about the weird relationship between those two brothers. Like I said, it is something deeper in the core of the show, and it got to do with something called the incentive and reward system. An incentive system is something that drives the character to act in a certain way in order to get to their objectives. When the incentive and reward system is working properly, the character will act in a way that makes sense to us, viewers and readers. The same, of course, is in Squid Game, where all sides act logically. Well, almost everyone. For example, the people playing the game joins mainly for the money. Therefore, most of them will act and do extreme things in order to get to the cash prize. Some of the competitors have violent pasts, so them doing nasty things in order to advance themselves or reward themselves looks reasonable to us because it makes sense for their characters to act in that way. We understand what they want. We don't necessarily need to approve or agree with their actions, but we can understand their motives and why they do it. From the other side of that spectrum, we have that douchey group of overly rich masked people. They are so rich that they dried out all the pleasures of their world. They became so desensitized to excitement that they designed a game where they can actually bet on people's life. And although me, and I bet also most of you, can't relate to that scenario still makes sense to us. We can see how the amount the players are fighting over can corrupt some of them, so just imagine how the amounts of those rich bastards corrupted them. So again, in their case, the incentive system is logical. They spend and invest money to get the excitement they can no longer achieve the way they used to. They have everything money can buy, so there is no challenge or excitement in their lives. Normal society can't provide them those levels of pleasure and excitement anymore, so they had to find it somewhere else. And that is what this game is for them. So at the end of the day, their horrible actions still make sense to us because we understand what they want. The policeman looking for his missing brother. His actions are logical to us as well. He lost his brother, he just discovered a death game, and he's making moves in order to get more information and also expose the game. Yes, he is taking risks, but it is all part of his character, and his actions are still logical because we can understand why he does them. Around the story there are many good examples of that system in play, in the group level and also at the individual level, but there is one main group that has no real logic behind their actions, and they are a crucial part of the story. I'm talking about the operators of the game, the triangles, squares and the circles who run the game. Throughout the entire season, we haven't got a clue for why they take place in that operation. Unlike the different characters we just talked about, those people came across as a single group, and although there is a hierarchy between them, their matching uniforms gave a sense of some sinister and mysterious group. A group that shares the same goal, like for example, the Stormtroopers. But that was changed when some of them revealed themselves to be regular people. That made them look less like some unified group and more like another group of people with their own personal reasoning to join this horrible experience. Are they here by choice like the contenders? And if so, what is their incentive or reward for doing so? Or are they forced to do what they do? And if so, who are they? Are they people who fell into debt and had to participate in order to pay it off? Or maybe it's some kind of a prison in the style of Dead Man Wonderland. My point is this: if they would remain a single terrifying unit, that would be somewhat okay, because you could compare them, like I mentioned, to the Stormtroopers. They are clones and we usually look at them as a single unit. But as soon as the creator of the Squid Game decided to expose some of them, he simply humanized them. And because we now know they are not some brainwashed clones, we need answers and reasons for why they do what they do. Why go to work in a place where you have terrible conditions, where you need to kill people and also have a pretty good chance of dying yourself? If this was some kind of a job scenario, I would expect those people to get paid extremely high. That scenario doesn't seem logical to me at all, and it doesn't explain the difference in hierarchy between the lower level shapes and the squares, which seems to report straight to the frontman. That also can't explain why some people will risk their lives harvesting and selling organs in the black market if they indeed got a decent pay. So that raises the question again: why are they even there? Like we talked about before, their part was not written in the first season, and I suspect it hasn't been written yet. If the creator wants to deliver a proper explanation to them, at some point he will have to treat them like the players in the game, as single individuals with different backstories, each with their own life goals, besides running the game like faceless tool. We saw they are simply working people, so what is their driving force? Is it money? Is it fear? Is it some sadistic experience for them? And if so, where did they find all of them, and how they are so organized? In my opinion, the best way to handle their situation is indeed by showing they are also captives on that island, showing they have even fewer rights than the actual players. And we saw something like that when the frontman killed one of them, showing they are much more disposable than the players. So as you can see, there is a big mess in the writing for that group, and if there was only one season, that would remain a giant loophole. A group of people with no clear motive that acts horrifically with no logical reason behind it. Well, at least for now. There are lots of ways to take their story and develop it, and I can talk about it for hours, but I mainly hope the creator's idea is somewhat like mine, to make them captives and to deliver a logical storyline to explain why and how they ended up working in the worst job ever. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a little like, and let me know what you think in the comments. This is all for this video, and I will see you all in my next one real soon, and even sooner in the comments. And until then, don't forget to dedicate your hearts to humanity, inside and outside the walls.